A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you another book review today, so cheers to that. Now, it's been some time since I last uploaded a video, and that is purely because for the past couple of weeks, my wife and I have been on vacation. We decided to take a trip over to a few cities in Eastern Europe, so that is why it has been kind of so long between videos. But while I was on vacation, I ended up reading an absolute crap ton of books while I traveled, and you're going to get a crap ton of videos coming out in the near future. The first one, of course, being Dragonlance, The Last Thane by Douglas Niles. This is book 2 in the Chaos War series. I have reviewed book 1, Doom Brigade, which is up on this channel. Now, for those of you that don't know what the Chaos War is, it's basically this series of books takes place during the Dragonlance novel Dragons of Summer Flame, which is another Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman Dragonlance novel, which is an absolutely fantastic continuation. But instead of Tarkesis, the Queen of Darkness, being the big bad in that book, it is basically the father of chaos, who is the father of the gods Tarkesis and Paladine. So this book actually takes place during that book. It's a standalone novel. I believe it came out in 1998. Yes. And you have a fantastic Todd Lockwood cover where you see the dwarf. I believe this is Baker White Granite, and the main demon lord in his actual demonic form, written by Douglas Niles. Quite a few of the book reviews coming out will have been written by Douglas Niles, just because I'm going back and reading a lot of the old fantasy books, and he wrote a lot of them. Now, I never read the Chaos War series back in the day when it first came out. I wasn't interested in them. I didn't think they really had anything to offer, and that was my mistake, because this was an absolutely fantastic book that deals with all of the dwarven clans, with the exception of the Nidar, who are the Hill Dwarves. They are not part of this. But all of the dwarven clans that live underground in the dwarven complex known as Thebarden. Now, back in the day, when I read the Dragonlance Chronicles and whatnot, Thebarden was simply a mountain dwarf stronghold. I didn't realize exactly how deep the lore, the history, and the complex itself went until I read The Last Thane. And once I did, I was fucking hooked. It is absolutely fascinating. Douglas Niles manages to bring out not only a lot of dwarven history, but the characters themselves, with the exception of the foot soldiers, the main characters, the major players in this book, are incredibly unique, incredibly interesting. They have their own motivations, their own characteristics. It's really rare that you get a book about dwarves where every dwarf that is taken center stage really feels unique. I haven't read a book like that for a long, long time. I'm not saying they're not out there. I'm just saying I haven't read one in a long, long time. So this is my spoiler-filled review of The Last Thane, although I will be leaving stuff out because this was the first book I finished on vacation, and I read a lot more of them as well. So bear with me. If you don't want to have this book spoiled, if you want to go and find it for yourself, by all means, I recommend it. Kindle, audiobook. Try and get a hard copy if you can. That's the best way to read books, in my personal opinion. this was fun. It was fantastic, and it really kind of opened my eyes to want to explore not only the stories around the Chaos War, but those that kind of follow after it, which lead into the Fifth Age and the Age of Mortals and the, if we're talking role-playing games, the Saga system and all of that kind of stuff. One downside I do have to this book, and this is purely, it's got nothing to do with the story, nothing to do with the writer, but as I was traveling, the bottom corner got torn off, and that shits me to tears. That is nothing to do with the book. That was just the way it was packed in my backpack as I was traveling around Eastern Europe. So there you have it. We're going to get right into a spoiler-filled review of The Last Thane, so stick around for the next episode of...
Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. People.
Oh boy, was I hesitant going into this one. I really was. The only reason I started reading this, well, two reasons actually. The first, this is a smaller book. I was reading this when I was teaching summer classes, so easy to carry. I didn't really want to read Doom Brigade either, but ended up loving it. So I figured, you know what? Why the fuck not? Why not read all of the books in this series and just see how I feel about them? So that was the motivation. Now, the book starts in the Abyss. There is a demon who is kind of lording over this garden of putrefaction, and he is visited by a fire dragon by the name of Primus. What is the demon's name? It's right here at the beginning. Somewhere. I'm not going to use all the names because I'll just fucking butcher them, but Zarak Thul, there we go. Zarak Thul is this dude on the cover. That's Zarak Thul. So the fire dragon comes down, Primus, and he was like, hey dude, let's get the fuck out of here. And Zarak Thul is like, I can't. Tarkisa says, I have to stay here in the Abyss. This is her realm, and this is my prison. And he's like, well, haven't you heard what's going on? Father Chaos is kind of going to fuck up Kryn, and she's kind of dealing with that, so let's fucking go. And Zarak Thul is like, fuck yeah. So he gets on the back of the dragon, and they fly off, and they come to Kryn. That is the prologue. Now, the story starts in Highbarden, which is basically the mountain dwarf home of, in Thorbarden. The mountain dwarves, okay, so I'm going to butcher this, and please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I apologize if I am to you Dragonlance fanatics out there. So Thorbarden is made up of clans of dwarves, and there's those clans, the Thanes of each clan, the leaders of each clan kind of have this council, so to speak. Now the head of the council and the ruler of Thorbarden is the mountain dwarf Thane. He, in fact, has gone off to fight the Chaos War, and he has left his cousin, Baker White Granite, in charge of Highbarden. So Baker White Granite is now kind of this de facto ruler of Thorbarden. And at the beginning of the novel, he is looking for this, the Helm of Tongues. This is an artifact that has been passed down through his family, and he is not a fighter, he's not a warrior, he's not a leader, he's a scholar. And the Helm of Tongues allows him to basically decipher any language, and that's his passion. He's looking for this place called the Grotto. The Grotto apparently contains something that is going to help whatever's happening outside. He is married to Garaneth. Yeah, I think her name is Garaneth Bellow Smoke. She is a dark dwarf. She's a Durga. And for some reason, she married him, and they have a son called Thane, who is half mountain dwarf, half dark dwarf. So he's kind of an outcast. The beginning of the book has... The first chapter, I shit you not, is basically a marital spat between the two of them, where he's looking for his helm and she's telling him, shut the fuck up, I'm trying to sleep. And he just leaves her alone. He's like, yeah, fuck it, I'm not going to get in a fight with her. She's just a bitch, basically. And he ends up going down. There's so many levels of Thebarden that are in this giant kind of stalactite called the Life Tree, which is very reminiscent of Menzoberranzan in the Forgotten Realms, but kind of its own thing. I'm not saying that one ripped off the other. I'm just saying they are kind of somewhat similar. So if you're familiar with one, you'll be familiar with the other. So he goes down and he gets word from his cousin who is fighting this war that shit is going on and he doesn't know when he's going to be back. So this guy has to be the Thane for possibly 1 or 2 years. And he's kind of freaking out about it. At the same time, his wife comes down and she's like, you know what? After our discussion this morning, I'm fucking leaving you. I'm going home. Have a nice life. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And I'm reading this book going, okay, a dwarven divorce is the way you're going to open this? So she starts packing and then it cuts to, and I'm butchering this, do not get me wrong, there's shit that happens in between which I'm going to completely forget. But you know what? That's the beauty part of this. Read it for yourself. Her son, Thane, who hates his father for being a scholar and is more in tune with his mother, goes and watches this woman that he's this dwarven maiden that he's in love with, Felixia, training new recruits because most of the Highbarden army has gone off with the actual Thane to fight in the Chaos War. And they have a little bit of a heart-to-heart. You can tell that they're very close, but it's just not happening at the moment. And then he sees his mother off, and his mother has actually stolen the Helm of Tongues from his father. He doesn't know this at the current time. So, while all of this is going on, this demon and this fire dragon have kind of broken through into the prime material plane, and they are basically they've basically attacked Thebarden. The Dark Dwarf chick, Garaneth, I'm just going to call her Garaneth, it's probably not her name. She goes back because her brother has actually killed the Thane of the Dark Dwarves, and in Dark Dwarf society, to become the Thane, you've got to kill the Thane, and then you have 7 days of challenges. And he's lasted 6 of those 7 days. The final challenger, the Dark Dwarf sends his personal assassin Slickblade to kill him before the challenge, which Slickblade does. He assassinates him. And so, because there's no other challenger on the 7th day, he becomes Thane. Garaneth tells him, listen, the army's gone. My ex-husband is in charge and he's a fucking soft cock. Hey, now is the time. So the Dark Dwarves are like, fuck yeah, let's go and take Highbarden. Let's become the rulers of Thebarden. So they march on the city. Now, while the preparation is taking place, Thane, her son, goes and visits her, and she drugs him so that he won't be a party to anything, even though he knows that she stole the ancestral helm from her ex-husband. While he's drugged, the Demon Lord and the Fire Dragon and a lot of these Chaos Spawn things, which are like shadows that if they kill you, any memory of you is erased from everyone who ever fucking knew you, which is really fucking cool. So they kind of attack, and the only this is after the Dark Dwarf army has left. So the Dark Dwarf realm is decimated, but Thane survives, and he survives with the help of an Agar called Regal. What is an Agar, you might ask? A gully dwarf. The most famous gully dwarf in all of Dragonlance, I should say, is Bupu, the gully dwarf that befriended Raistlin in the ruins of Zaxaroth in Dragons of Autumn Twilight. But gully dwarves are the lowest of the low. Every other dwarven race kind of looks down on them. They're nothing. They're scum. They're just the... dare I say it? No, I'm not going to say it. I want to say it. I'm not going to say it. But I will tell my friends when I Zoom with them later. But I'm not going to say it. They're just the lowest dwarf caste. So Regal gets Thane and kind of gets him out of danger. Thane previously had tried to save a gully dwarf from persecution, but that gully dwarf ended up dying. Thane hated gully dwarves, and now he's kind of looking at them in a different light. And they decide we've got to get back to Highbarden. How do we do that? And Regal's like, let's just steal one of their fucking boats, because there's a lake between... There's an underground kind of lake between all of the dwarven kind of clans. Now, to an underground living dwarf, drowning is the worst type of death imaginable. So naturally, Thane is a bit skeptical, but they get the boat and they go. But the boat overturns, but the gully dwarves get him out, and so now they're back on the Highbarden side. But the problem is, between the attacks of the Dark Dwarves and the Claw, which is another clan, which the Dark Dwarves come in from the bottom and the Claw attack from the top, paid by the Dark Dwarves. The Dark Dwarves also have Theawar Dwarves who can wield magic. The Highbarden are pretty much fucked at this point. And I shit you not, reading this book, I could not see how the... Rio, come here, mate. No, you come here. No. Yeah. Shut up then. Okay. I could not see how the Highbarden were going to get out of this. It was really fucking touch and go. What? You come here. See what I have to put up with when doing these book reviews? Shut up. No. Shut up. You shut up. Okay. You promise? Okay. No, there he goes again. So they get to Highbarden, but the Chaos have already kind of attacked it. They've decimated it. This fire dragon can just kind of fly into the rock and just melts the rock. So everything is getting destroyed. Baker White Granite has kind of assembled some men, and they're trying to get up to the higher levels. Felixia, who is Thane's kind of girlfriend, so to speak, she's been trapped on the bottom levels as the Dark Dwarves have kind of come in, and it's basically a shit show that Thane has gotten himself into, along with these gully dwarves that are looking up to him as kind of leader. All through this, we get bits and pieces of... Shut up. Okay. We get bits and pieces of this prophecy from this ancient dwarf that Baker White Granite is kind of trying to find this grotto that is going to have this key that's going to save everyone. So Thane slowly makes his way towards Highbarden, getting trapped on this kind of mountain of rubble with Dark Dwarves closing in. And then he looks up, and Felixia is there with her troop, and they lower a rope down, and Thane and the Gully Dwarves kind of get away. While this is going on, Baker White Granite, the interim Thane, gets the dwarves together, and they get these magic weapons out of the throne room, and it's only magic that can kill these shadow demon chaos warrior things. So they're fighting, trying to get back up, using this chain from this lift that's going up. And it's the middle of this book is just one giant, how the fuck are they going to get out of this shit show? And it is awesome. So ultimately, Thane and his father are reunited. Regal, the gully dwarf. Thane manages to kill Slickblade. Regal manages to steal the Helm of Tongues from Garaneth. And everyone's kind of reunited, and that's when Baker realizes the grotto is actually under his house. And the whole idea is that in this grotto was a good dragon kind of nest, and there is an egg that contains part of the power of the Grey Gem. What is the fucking Grey Gem? Now, the Grey Gem is what contained Father Chaos, and when it got cracked, that's how Chaos came out into Kryn, and that started the Dragons of Summer Flame story. It's the only thing that can stop it. So they get to the grotto. They get this. They're about to get this platinum dragon egg when the leader of the Dark Dwarves comes and demands it. Now, the reason Chaos has been attacking Highbarden is because Garaneth discovered that when she puts the helm on, she can communicate with this demon and she can control him. But without the helm, she's fucked. So the Thane tries, the Dark Dwarf Thane tries to take this artifact, but it backfires and he ends up getting killed by it. The only person that can hold this artifact is the true Thane of Highbarden, and that is Baker Whitegranite. He proves himself the leader. He proves himself the true Thane. As Chaos is kind of closing in and a lot of the warriors are coming in and the chaos and all of that, he sends away his son and Felixia to kind of climb up out of Highbarden. Regal, the gully dwarf, is revealed to be the person kind of pulling the strings for good. He is the sage that wrote the initial papers that Baker was reviewing and kind of trying to find where the grotto was. So Regal was kind of in disguise as a gully dwarf the whole time, which I didn't see coming and I thought was fucking cool. So just as Thane and Felixia escape, Baker Whitegranite manages to send Chaos back to where it came from, the Abyss, at the cost of his own life, of course. His wife, Garaneth, dies way back when. And all that's left is a few dwarves from different clans up above Highbarden trying to work out what the fuck are we going to do now. And that, I mean, I left so much out of this, but going through it, you know, word for word, just going to take too long. That's the gist of the story. Did I enjoy it? Oh, fuck yeah. This book was amazing. And this is one of my regrets. I wish I'd read this when it had come out. I don't know why I didn't. I'm a fan of Douglas Niles. I'm a fan of Dragonlance. And I did enjoy Dragons of Summer Flame. It's a good book. It's, I mean, anything in the Dragonlance saga written by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman is just fucking fantastic. So why did I pass this up? I guess I was just reading other stuff at the time. I don't know. So there you have The Last Thane book 2 of the Chaos War series. I believe book 3 is Tears of the Night Sky by Linda P. Baker. And that one deals with the cleric of Paladine Chrysania, who you might recognize from the Legends trilogy, Time of the Twins, War of the Twins, and Test of the Twins, which I will be reading and reviewing, whenever I get around to it. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Read a Fucking Book, people. If you did, like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all that fucking cool stuff. But most importantly, and I cannot stress this enough, have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe. But most importantly, of course, read a fucking book, people.